Buffalo is going to be 2024's hottest real estate market. Let's talk about it. Recently, Zillow published an article crowning Buffalo, New York as the hottest real estate market of 2024. And today we're going to talk about how they came to that conclusion, what that means for people that are buying and selling real estate in Buffalo, and what I think about it in general. And before we dive into those things, I just want to point out that the irony is not lost on me about Zillow and people in the real estate industry talking crap about Zillow every chance that they get. And then as soon as they publish an article like this, everybody's sharing it and praising the article. I'm pretty agnostic about the whole Zillow thing. I think that there's pros and cons just like anything else. I do think that if it wasn't gonna be Zillow, it would be a different company, website, you name it. I think there are advantages for the consumer with a tool like that. I think that it does pose a threat to people in the industry. With that said, when they publish an article like this, I like to share my thoughts. So here we go. So how do they come to that conclusion? In January of 2024, they're claiming that Buffalo, New York is going to be the hottest market in the country. Now, what they're really saying is that our price point relative to the nation is pretty low, and our economy and our jobs are doing very well. And both of those things are true. The average home in Western New York costs about $248,000 compared to the national average of $347,000. The average monthly payment to own a home in Western New York is $1,800 a month. The average rent is $1,300 a month. And to people who have lived in Buffalo their entire lives, those numbers might seem high, but to the rest of the country, those seem very low. And we're very lucky that we've had a bunch of economic growth over the last decade or so. It's no secret that people that have been here for a long time, downtown did not look like downtown looks now 10 years ago. And ultimately, I would agree with the idea that this is going to be, I absolutely agree with the idea this is a good place to buy a home. This is a good place to invest in rental property if you're in that game. I think that growth is sustainable. I think that Buffalo, compared to other parts of the country, while we might see some downward trends in other parts of the country, we're going to see that sustainable growth continue in Buffalo. In that article, they also did cite the idea that of the 50 largest cities in the country, Buffalo has the highest rate of new jobs in any of them. So again, not only are we dealing with relatively low housing costs, we're dealing with high wages. That is how they came to that conclusion. So whether you're gearing up to buy in Buffalo for the first time or you're already a homeowner, what does this mean? And to be honest with you, it's gonna sound kind of broken record-y. We have low inventory, we have high demand. And when that's the case, when things slow down, they don't start publishing articles about that. If it takes a massive downhill turn, that's when you start to see the articles. But forever and ever, you saw these articles talking about the growth and the appreciation and all that. And for the last, call it 6 months or so, we've been seeing things like seller concessions and sale contingencies and creative financing, that sort of thing. And in a world where, like in the peak of the most competitive markets, you did not see those things, especially being fueled by an article like this. Those things are going to go away again. No one knows exactly when. I will say that if you're trying to buy a house and you need things like a sale contingency or seller concessions or something like that, you're going to want to jump on that sooner than later, because as we are all expecting interest rates to continue to come down some. We don't know that we're ever going to see 3% again, but if they do that, that is going to raise competition again, and we have the room to grow. I have conversations pretty often with people that say, I can't believe houses have appreciated this much. When can it possibly stop? It will eventually, but I don't think it's anytime soon. And when you have headlines like this buzzing around, that fuels that fire. If you are already a homeowner and you're gearing up to sell, I'm predicting that home values are going to continue to go up. You can definitely put your house on the market now, and there's still plenty to capitalize on, but it's going to get more aggressive as the year goes on. So what do I think about this whole thing? I think it's great. I think that for a long time, the economic growth, the slower economic growth in Western New York had a lot more to do with the slower appreciation and then interest rates being higher in general in the past. Prevented people from paying it down as quickly. So you're opening up that equity faster, and you're able to be more creative with it. I think that's great. I think that being a homeowner is one of the biggest pillars in building wealth in America. It is literally the American dream. It is probably a lot of people's retirement plans at this point. So the fact that this has gone on for a while and we predict it's going to keep going is a wonderful thing. So if you follow other real estate agents on social media or what have you, you've probably seen this article before locally here in Buffalo. And that's because it is a good thing for real estate agents. I do think that it's a good thing for the consumer as well, especially for people that are trying to enter the market. I think there's better ways to leverage this than others. So some people will look at that headline and say, it's even harder to buy a house, I'm not even going to bother. I wouldn't suggest that. The types of people that I think win in a situation like this are those that use the multifamily house hacking strategy, especially with some of the low down payment options that are available now. I think that buying a starter home and over time parlaying that into a better home that fits your needs as life evolves, rather than trying to save up for your dream house out of the gate. And then also, as always, people that can understand the importance of the total cash to close and the monthly payment versus trying to wrap your head around a six-figure purchase is going to give you a clearer mind walking into a market like this. So ultimately, I agree with what Zillow is saying. I don't love Zillow and the threat that they pose to the industry that I love so much. But ultimately for the consumer, that doesn't matter. I think that things in the Buffalo real estate market are going to be good for a long time. And I think that getting in the game now is going to pay dividends down the line. So if you aren't following other real estate agents, give me a follow. I am Johnny Sells Houses on Instagram and TikTok, JOHNNY, or subscribe here on YouTube. This is what the channel is all about. We're going to try to keep you in the know about what goes on in the Buffalo real estate market. And when topical things like this come up, we're going to have some fun with it.